Okay, I think it's time to get started. Ooh, let me turn this light off really quick. Bring this down and let's make our camera go live. Hello. Oh my. Oh, do a little bit of adjustments every day. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am Mina, and this is the Olo Marker YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We like to do some live streaming and do some coloring. So we provide you line art every single stream. So every week there is a new line art that is posted up on our resources page on olomarker.com. Today we're going to be working on Latte. And so the colors we're going to be using are called vintage. So, not oh my God, not vintage, rustic. Rustic is the theme we're using today. So why don't we actually jump right in? Just gonna switch to BRB really quick. Make sure my camera and hit my microphone again. Okay. There we go. And hey, there we go. So this week I have it up nice and close so we can just start coloring. I'm going to move my mic up just a tiny bit to get it out of the way of my hand. So here we go. Here is Latte. And like I said, we're going to be using Rustic today. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, Kim. So good to see you. I can't wait to see what you take from this and kind of go crazy. So I have my little swatch paper right here. I have my Olo markers right here. You guys are going to see that, as per usual, I put the markers together ahead of time. So I have a couple here that are brush, and then I have a couple here that are brush chisel, because I do really love the chisel and it does not get enough love. Okay. Joe, hi from Arkansas. Hello. Or Arkansas. Because y'all are very sassy. In the best way, of course. Not in a New York way. New York way is like, hey, yo. Cheryl, hi. Hello, Cheryl. How are you? Good to see you again. All right. So without further ado, let's talk about what we want to do. So I went and I did this mock-up a couple days ago because I wanted to have some fun. I was thinking, hey, green cup is really cool. We tend to always do white cups. We can totally do that. We're going to have a lot of like nice mocha colors inside here. We're going to use warm grays on the actual white of our frothed milk. And by the way, I just got a frother. That thing is amazing. I don't know how I lived without it. Yeah, so I want you guys to take note that there are some rims here. So we do have some really good indicators for the shape of our cup. We have a little indicator right here. So we have a lot of good spaces to know where we want our shadows to go. This one deals with directional lighting, meaning my light's coming from all the way up here and casting this way. So we're getting more of a shadow here, a cast shadow here, and we'd also get one here, which you can see in my notes. Right here, because I tend to write all over my artwork. Karen, hello from New Hampshire. Woo, I dated somebody in New Hampshire. Probably the nicest guy I've ever been with. You, ugh, New Hampshire people, you have great food. Great food, and you might tell that I love food. If this is your first time here, you're gonna hear a lot about food. All right, so this is sort of like our goal, what we're going for. We might change up some of those colors and have some fun. So why don't we start off nice and simple? We're gonna start off by making some steam. So I'm gonna move my camera up just a little tiny bit. Whoop! Getting better with this camera work. And I am gonna go ahead and we're gonna grab a 7.1 orange. This one is Pug, and I mean, look at how perfect that is. Such a pug color. Pugs are so cute. All right, I'm gonna uncap this guy. Let's swatch him out. Oh, that's so pretty. You guys might notice I'm using a different paper from the Express It paper for my swatching. I just like to see the difference of it. It's also the first thing I grabbed. I have to cut more of that espresso paper into like little swatch cards. So, okay, so this is Pug. This is my good old friend Pug, which is orange 7.1. And again, if you want to know all the colors we're going to be using, I do have it posted in the description, so like no worries. So here's Pug. So, oh, I already left something on the page. So what we're going to do for the steam is we're just going to gently roll. So I'm going to go and roll, and then some of these areas in here, I'll make them go a little fatter. So it's almost like a little snake that we're making. Now you can do it like this, or you can do what I did. It's very similar to what we did last week, where instead of doing lines, what you're going to do is you're going to fill in most of the background and leave the white of the page. So you can get that as well. And they're both really, really easy to do. Definitely great food. Oh my gosh, yes. I actually should plan a trip back to New Hampshire. Like surprisingly, there was a really great ramen place there, and I am a ramen fiend. Like I'm just like, oh, soup? Sign me up. All right, so again, starting thin, thick around the curve, then thick around the curve, then. So you can put as many or as little of these steamies as you want. That's what I'm going to call them now. It's not steam, it's steamies. Because, like, this is just our first go. This is going to be, like, our practice. We're just rolling along. Ooh. Oh, look at... I want to sip it already. It's pure white, and I am already, like, jonesing for a latte. Alright, so around some of these edges, I'm just going in and just adding a little more bulk to it. Nothing crazy. There we go. We got some steam. We may want to add to it later on. So I'm going to cap my marker. I'm going to grab my 0 because I want to soften this out more towards the... Look at this. This is so funny. This is how much I use my 0. I have permanently dyed it, unfortunately. It's all right. Still works. It actually does not affect the alcohol at all or the way that it blends. I like, you know... I'm going to switch to the chisel. I'm sorry. With the 0, I'm about the chisel. And like that's not wrong or right in any way, shape, or form. Like it really isn't. It's just my personal preference. I always recommend if you have a 0, I know everybody wants to go with the brush, but try the chisel. Because like the 0 is for cleanup. You know, and the brush is really great for blending, but I feel like the chisel, when I want to do any kind of blending, I always apply more pressure. And not, the brush can take it, 100% it can, but there's something about the edge of the chisel that I have truly fallen in love with it the past, like, 2 months. The more I've used it, I'm like, oh my gosh. All right, so I'm just going in, I'm wisping it out a little bit. So you're going to see these guys sort of get a little softer in some areas. You can go crazy, no worries. Like, do what you feel is right. If you have the brush, go with it. Just feel it out, man. It's steam. It's supposed to be all swirly and very organic lines is what we refer to this as, very organic. Okay, we have that. So the question is, do we want to do the cup and the saucer, or do we want to go straight into our latte? And we're going to go into the latte. I can't help it. So we're going to be using a lot of our oranges. We have our red grays here. I have a red gray 3 and a red gray 6. These guys are fantastic. So if you want to like a really good, like a really nice mid-tone that does a great job, the grays, like the red grays specifically. Ugh, darling. Like I can't even... we're going to be using some orange reds. So we got, this guy is going to be one of our darker tones. Oop. And as I throw this, and we're probably going to go right back to our Pug because it's just one of my favorites. So I believe these are most of the guys we're going to be using for the inside of our cup here. So let's swatch them out. And while I'm at it, I'm also going to grab Ooh, another bleed page because I bled right onto my paper. And, always have a bleed page. Always, always. Just gonna rip it right out of my book. Here we go. All right, so let's start with our red grays. So we're gonna start with red gray 6. Look how nice. I would even put that in with like mocha at this point. Like I would replace it. So this is red gray 6. Our blending partner for that is going to be red gray 3. So notice again, I like to put my blending partners together on a single marker because when you're working, you could just flip to the other side. And because these markers are a closed system, meaning they are one-sided, they're not going to dry out nearly as fast. So you can keep them uncapped for like a while you're working. So this is red gray 3. Perfect. So this is our first blending partner. Let's go to our next one. These guys are a little richer because they're in the OR, so orange red. So let's start off with our darker tone. Orange red 4.8. Swatch it. I was jumping ahead there. Look at how rich that is versus our red gray. So these guys are going to make some really cool ripples together. This is OR 4.8. And here is OR 4.7. I'm sorry, it's like a little blurry. And these guys are blending partners. So we have our mid-tone and our darker tone. Woohoo! OR 4.7. Beautiful. And let's get our lightest tones now. So we have my favorite Pug, which is 07.1. So cute. And since he's our lighter one, we're going to put him here on the right-hand side. I need to ask Elisa to do like a dog, because if I could just color dogs and cats all day long, I could just be so happy. Okay, so this one is our orange 7.3. This is our blending partner. And these are the guys we're mostly going to be using for our latte. Woohoo! Look at all those colors for just this little space. Can you believe it? I do the same with my blending partners, right? Like, it's just so easy. You just take them off and you just go doo-doo-doot, doo-doo-doot. Like, that's just me. The one thing I do advise with that, though, is make sure you're putting the right caps onto the right one. So check the sticker. I do that all the time where I'm like, that's weird. Okay, so for this guy, we're going to start with our, with a nice, like, dark, rich, well, not rich, the red gray 6. And we're not going to bring it all the way to the corner or all the way to the edge. What I want to do, like I do a lot of the times, is I want to make what I'm now referring to as a gutter. So we want a space of white page between the cup and our latte, because the thing about lattes is they are made of milk, and then the edges actually froth a little bit too. So I'm just going in, just going around. You're going to see there's little bubbles in here. Don't worry too much about them. That's what we have the 0 for. We're going to go in with the 0 and pull them right up. All right, so as we get closer to this edge, though, we are going to touch the line, because we're not going to see where the actual liquid touches the cup inside, because the rim is higher. So just go around. We're not going super crazy. You'll see, like, mine's a little shaky today. The truth of the fact is I had way too much coffee like an hour before this stream, so I was prepping. There we go. So you don't need to fill it in. We're just doing a nice circle. Perfect. We're going to leave our blending partner out for right now. So we're going to put them aside. We're going to go to our richer tones here. So we are going to start with our OR 4.8. This is cacao bean, or cocoa, but it's cacao. Cacao. All right, taking it off. Touch that edge. Bring it around. And what you're going to see happen is these two will sit next to each other very, very nicely. They play pretty nice to one another. You can bring this up a little bit more if you want, but follow the grain. So we have this cup, it's holding liquid, so you need to follow the same direction that is. There you go. There you go, see? Look at that, you can do it. You got this. Just very light touching. You don't need to use the whole edge, just very light touching. Oh, it was very juicy. It's got you back. You don't need to overwork it. There we go. Beautiful. I have some white of the page here come through. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Cap this guy. We're going to our blending partner for our red gray. We're going into 3. And where these two guys meet, we're going to gently run our marker over it. Yep, just where they meet. That's all. Because what this is going to do is going to make it look like a ripple. That's right. We're adding ripples. We're adding that higher quality of art. And look at how it starts to pale out the richness of our orange red. And it's almost making it look a little smoky. And that's okay. Our artwork has to go through the ugly phase. Always, always, always. We, kids turn into ugly preteens that turn into teenagers that turn into adults, and then you're an adult, you look back at the younger self and you're like, why did I wear a bucket hat every day of my life? I don't understand why I did that as a child. All right, we're getting around. Who here, has anyone ever questioned like what you did as you were a kid? Like, why did I do that? Like, why did I push my sister? I don't know why I had to do that. All right. We're gonna grab our lighter tones here. So our orange 7.1 and 7.3. So we're gonna be using, I don't know how to say that. I think this is why. So I work really closely with our artist, Elisa. She's the one who does all of our line art. She's absolutely amazing. And there's so often I will submit a video and then she'll get notes back to me because she's wonderful like that. And she'll be like, hey, you mispronounced this like the whole time. So if you're ever unsure of how to pronounce something, look it up ahead of time. Don't go onto a live stream. McKay? I think it's McKay. I don't know. I'm going to stop trying. Kim is probably just dying right now. All the time. I always mispronounce stuff. I did a demo a long time ago. So we're going back like 12, 13 years or so. And I did a live demo at a school. And for some reason, I just couldn't get the word sepia, which is it's such an art where like every artist knows what sepia is. If I say sepia, you close your eyes, you know what that beautiful brown orange looks like. You just do. And I would always call it sepia for like the longest time. And everyone was like, what are you saying? And the thing is, it's because I'd never heard anyone say it before. So I had to like correct myself in the middle of this weird lecture. I was like, well, you know what I meant. Goodness gracious. So don't ever feel bad if you mispronounce something. You are very, very educated and smart. You just probably never had anyone, say it. That's our English language. Okay. We got that. So I was just gently brushing over it. Let's switch over to our 7.1, our pug. I do know how to say that one. Yay. And notice we're moving further and further in. I'm still following the shape that's here. I'm still following that grain. Notice I'm still going circular motions. I'm not going against it. Now, if you want to get a texture like a sweater, something like that, you can go against the grain and get textures. But for this, since this is a liquid, generally it's going to follow that same texture. Look how cute that looks. All right, we're slowly getting there. We're slowly bleeding it in. Very cool. I'm liking it. Oops, always dropping. All right. I'm going to go back into my RG9. And this time I'm going to very gently mark off where I want the coffee to come through from the milk. So you have to think a little more in a negative space like this, meaning instead of coloring inside here, I'm coloring what the outside is. So negative space is the space you tend not to really look at or think about, but it's very important. If you struggle with artwork, with coloring, I recommend work on the negative space first, because that's going to take away a lot of that guessing and that unsureness, because all of a sudden you've thrown yourself into a space you're like, I actually don't know what I'm looking at. And then it starts to come together the more you put into it. So notice how before it kind of just looked like a blob, and now it's starting to look like it was milk that was poured in. It was like drizzled in. And you kind of start to get that. That's the fun thing. All right. We're going to cap this guy. Boop. We're going to switch over. Red, green. Yeah, red, green. Red, gray, 3. All right, because the blending partner leading in and leading out, we're just going to softly blend it out, just gently pulling. You want to lead the dye, because it is dye. All alcohol marker technically is dye. You want to lead it out. That's what you're doing. It's like a little ant colony. They leave little pheromones so that way they know where to go. Okay, hey, that's looking pretty good. Now let's make this outside a little richer now that we're starting to get that look there. Excellent. I looked it up for you. It's pronounced macaque. I would not have guessed that. Oh, that's a monkey. Okay, that makes sense. It's a macaque. Okay. That makes so much sense. I have heard that before. I've just never seen it spelled. Thank you, Snipper, for saving me. I really appreciate that. All right, let's go into our really rich tone. We're going to go into our 4.8 on our orange red. We're going to go back to that outside. And just gently pull it around. Because it's liquid, it's a lot of layering. Look at that, I'm getting more confident. Now that I'm a little warmed up, I'm getting more confident. I'm like, I can do this. Watch this. All right, so cool. We're starting to get it. Now we do have these little bubbles. I said not to worry about them. You don't need to. I'm going to go in with my dark color, and on the under part of the bubble, I'm just going to put a little divot. Kind of similar to like our fish, where you just kind of follow the way it goes. Just do the same thing with the bubbles, just a little. If it's easier, here's a trick. So doing it from the side can be a little more challenging. So what you can do is do it where it's basically parallel to your paper. And adjust your grip. And you can do it a lot easier, because then it's just up, down, up, down, up, down, and you just keep it the same. So you'll get those little bubbles a little easier. Oh, hi kitty cat. I thought my cat was just going to jump up. I'm like, nope, we made it this far in the stream without you doing this. We're not going to do that today. My kitten, she's actually not my kitten, she's my middle child, if you will. She's been sick the past for a while now, and she's feeling better. So, all right, we're gonna flip. We're flipping. 4.7. Going down, our blending partner. All right. Where those colors meet, you know what to do. Blend them out, make them beautiful. As I was saying, my cat has been, my kitten, my middle child, has been sick tummy ache and whatnot, and she, I took her to the vet. She's on some medicine. Now she's feeling better, but because she's feeling better, now she's all over everything. Like jumping up, going crazy, knocking my markers around, even though they're in the stand. Got a little dabs inside there. Just little ones. There we go. All right. Beautiful. All right, we're gonna go back into our macaque. See, I learned it. Put that guy right there for you guys. And we're just blending. That's all we're doing. We're having fun. Ooh. I love doing these. Wow, that's not looking half bad. Mina, I got a little chisel ends and I do love them. I told you, Cheryl, they're so good. I'm so glad. Like, they really don't get enough love for what they're so good. Like the precision work. Like, it really is about the little tiny little precision pieces. Like, my goodness. And you're gonna find that there's gonna be pieces that you're just not gonna use them for, and that's fine. And other pieces you're gonna do just chisel. This Sunday we're gonna have the last of our Coloring Roses video go up. And I used totally chisel on it. Like, I went all chisel all the way on it. So, and it was really fun. Okay, so here is the inside of our latte. We're going to let it dry a little bit before we go and continue back in. I'm going to blow my nose really quick. Excuse me. Okay, thank you. All right, so let's talk about our cup here. Now, I do have a really pretty blue violet 4.2. We would use this if we're going to go with a white cup. So we can totally do that, or we can go in with the greens like we did here. Now, if we do the greens, it's basically going to be just this. If we do the white cup, we can look into putting designs on it. And I'm all for doing something a little different. So, question is like, what do we want to do right now? I don't know. Do I want to go with the blue or do I want to go with the greens? I think I want to show you guys the greens because it's a little more, I don't want to say advanced. Advanced is not the right word for it, but it's a little more, there's more blending involved. So for my greens, these are the guys we're going to be using. I do have a chisel end on here. So this guy has yellow green 8.3 on both sides. We got the chisel, we got our brush. And this lovely friend right here is yellow green 8.7, fern, and moss 8.5. These guys are blending partners. And that's really what we're going to be using for a cup here. So let's swatch them. We're going to start with our darker tones. We're going to start with Y green 8.7. It's fern. Fern. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. Yellow green 8.7. And if you're just joining us, I have the full list of colors that we're using in the description, so no worries. And you can find the collection, or rather the theme, available on our website under resources, not under resources, under shopping for colors. The line art is available under resources. So this guy is yellow green 8.5, because we got our younger guys over here. We're gonna start off with our softer tone here. So we gotta actually put them down. So we have yellow green 8.3. This is the same on both sides. So we just have 3 here. I am gonna swatch both of them just so you guys can see the chisel end. Even the sound. Oh, the sound of the chisel is just really rich. It's not super squeaky like some are. If you get just the right angle, you can get it to squeak. Okay, so these guys are the same. We just have brush, we have chisel. Beautiful. Look at how pretty that is. I'm getting a little better at that. All right, let's move this guy down a little bit. There we go. Beautiful. So let's start off with our softer tones. I'm going to use the chisel end for this, and I'm just going to mark off all the areas that I want to color. So we're going to be blocking out those shapes. Grins. Grins. So I'm going to use the very tip. So I'm not using the edge, but the highest tip here. And I'm just going to mark off where I want to color. And notice again, I'm making a gutter here. So the gutter is again the area between the line and where I want to color, because I want to have a lighter spot just in case. And it will actually create what's known as a reflective shine. Yeah. All right, so let's just fill it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change my grip a little bit. I'm going to use the edge and the side. You'll see that these guys have a really cool, the way they're put together. They have a really cool edge to them. So you can use the side, the very bottom of it, this tip or that tip, and they all react a little differently, which is nice. Okay. And if you need to fill a space, the chisel's really good for it, because surprisingly, it does a really even fill. And I'm just using my arm to fill this in. I'm going old school on this. Back in my day, markers did not have brushes. You only had a chisel and a bullet. And a bullet sounds wonderful, but bullets I've used have been a little, I don't know, they would bleed a little more than I would have liked. There we go. You can see it how it's like softening out, and then here we have a little looseness. That's okay. All right, let's do the same thing. I'm gonna leave an area in the white, pull this down, change my grip, use the side. There we go. Very nice. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing great. Wonderful. All right, let's do the same thing for over here. Just using the very, very edge. And you're going to see, because it is slanted, I can do really cool things where it's like when I pull it out and around, I'll get that thin and thick that I need. So it's like it's less work. There we go. Very cool. So it's starting to come together. Let's do our dish really quick. So you need to follow the grain that's here. Just do the best you can to make up where that line is going. Then you can change your grip. Don't forget the inside. There we go. Okay, and we're just going to keep following this as we go. There we go. Okay. All right. Swing a little bit more. What's nice is, like, it's a little messy right now, but hey, ugly preteens phase, you know? Why did I wear the bucket hat? Go inside here a little bit too. The more you put down, a little darker it's gonna get. just follow the grain that you've established. Follow the grain of that cup, and you'll be fine. There we go. Beautiful. What color is that green? This guy is yellow green. This is lichen. And yeah, so this guy is just lichen, both sides of it. I totally forgot. All right, gonna switch over to my brush. And we're just gonna build that shadow with the same color. There we go. Let's do the same thing over here. Follow that line. And bring it around. Don't forget the other side. And there's 2 divots on this. So let's pull this around to our other friend and connect them. There we go. Let's do the same thing for this guy in here. Keep building. All right, let's go back into our cup. Start to build that darker area. Again, I'm not touching the gutter yet. Do the same thing here. So I'm kind of sticking to those shapes that I've already established. Let's also make sure that we go around here. Don't rush this. Just take your time with this part. This is where you really want to use the brush. There we go. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I'm going to cap that guy for now. We're going to go back to our 0 because I want to soften up this area right here before we go any further. So it's still a little wet. Let me grab my chisel 0. We're going to break that rule of following the grain. I'm just going to do little circles. You want to use the whole bottom point here for this. Just do little circles. All right, let's let that bleed out a little bit. Let's grab our darker. So we're going to grab our mid first, and that is going to be the yellow green 8.5. This is moss. And let's go ahead and let's start adding in a little bit of that shadow. Now it's directional, so our light is up here, coming down this way, which means that this is going to be cast in a shadow. Notice I'm still not touching that gutter, because when we go over this with our 0 and our lichen, it's going to bleed it a little bit, and it's going to look like it's shining the green from the cup. So it's totally what we want, 100%. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, let's go under here a little bit. And I just want to kind of establish that rim a little bit more. And I'm just scribbling. Let's go down here. Let's do the under part. And let's have that actually go into the gutter and around, because that's going to be the under part. So we're doing a weird transition here where we have under, that then we'll transition to this being under. So we have to have that little break there where it kind of like cuts through. Very good. So as it meets there, let's go ahead and darken this area, because when you have 2 points meet like that, it's going to naturally be darker, even if it's in the sun. So For example, my hand is completely in light, but when I put my fingers together, you can see a very dark path there because they are creating shadow just by touching. Yep. So we do the same right here. Build her up. Have some fun. Let's go in here and do the same thing. We're going to go ahead and bring this around. What I'm actually going to do is we're going to bring this all the way to the edge of our cup. Very good. And start to darken in the actual inside and outside of our cup here. Go in there. And I'm just going to quickly mark off, hey, this is where I want my shadow to lie. I'm not going crazy. We don't need perfection. We're not about perfection here. We're about building. Building up. I'm going to say that a million times. Do a little around the edge. Do the very bottom here. Do the very, very bottom. Right where it's touching the latte. Just very gentle. We're creating that depth. Okay. Let's now flip. So flip into our darker color, yellow green 8.7. This one is fern. And all these areas we want to be our shadow now. We're going to lay it down. Maybe even a little on here. And the closer we get to the cup, the darker we want that to be. All right, now flip. Now let's soften up those edges. So again, what we're doing, we're going to start in the dark area and lead it out, making a path. Make a path. Maybe have like a little sliver of color right there. There we go. And flip. Let's get darker again. And flip. This is when it starts to come together and it starts to actually look like something. You're like, oh my gosh, it does work. It's always fun. All right, get those little edges in there. And don't be afraid to flip right when it's still wet. Get them rolling. Very good, very good, very good. All right. So now we do have this guy here with this, so there is going to be a little indication of like the handle here. I'm just making it up because I really don't know. I don't have actually a clue what that would look like. Reference photos are definitely your best friends, but let's just go ahead and let's make it up. Do like a little thing right there. And shadows are not just like straight black. Like this is not a shadow. They are multi-dimensional. So you are going to have like different varying areas of darkness in here. Very good. Okay. Let's go under here. Get that. And just gently work it. Work, work, work. All right, and we have about 15 minutes left, so we're doing pretty good. Not half bad. All right, so because this is all still touching, any areas where they do touch, we do want to have that a little darker for the under part here. And I think we're doing pretty good. So I'm going to cap these guys. And we're going to go back to our lighter colors, a yellow green 8.3, or lighter color, it's just one, these guys. And we are going to soften those edges. Do the same thing for the cup. Gently follow the grain. And now you can go into the gutter and you can start to fill that a little bit. Gentle strokes, gentle strokes. There we go. We're just softening it out. There we go. That's looking pretty nice. Perfect? No. Okay. You do a little texturing here if you want, because maybe there's something like in the background. And because this is reflective, we kind of want to give an indication of like there's other stuff happening around here. That's not bad. I kind of want to make this a little darker, but I'm going to leave it for right now. So I'm going to cap this guy. So let's work on the shadow that's underneath here. And I want to go somewhere radically different with it. So I'm going to put my greens back and we're going to go into this beautiful Blue Violet 4.2. I have both the chisel and the brush here. So I'm going to start with the chisel by blocking off where I want my shadow to go. I'm going to move my camera down just a little bit. Let's get in a little closer if we can. There we go. So, all right, coming from this direction, following this, I think that's good, because if I go and I look at my initial one here, you can see I have it marked off, and then the further it kind of gets away, we're going to utilize more of the white of the page. So let's go ahead, and there's no real grain here. I'm still going to try and follow it, but hey, we're going to fall back on a nice little scribble. Because again, shadows are multifaceted. They have different tones inside of them, depending like what you do and how you do it. Get darker inside there, get a little nice and close. There we go. Cap this guy. Going with our 0. Now the zeros I like to use to blend the lighter colors with the white of the page, or pull up colors, so it's just, so I want it to be a little sharper as it's closer, and then the further away it gets, I want to soften it, because that's what shadows do. The further away you get from the source, is they do tend to get blurrier. There we go, and let's grab our chisel again, because we want this area nice and close to be a little bit darker. And notice I'm going with blue instead of green or the warm that I had up here. What it's going to do, it's going to push out that green a lot more. Warm and cool, just the way they work with one another, it's going to push it out, and it looks a little more like a shadow because of that. The shadow handle is upside down. Look at that. That is why working with reference is so important. The shadow handle is upside down. Yeah, look at that. Well, what are you going to do? Reference photos is all really good. I love it. Guys, thank you. Thank you for keeping me honest, because I am learning with you. with this. Oh my gosh, I've been coloring for like my entire life. It's really funny. It's really very funny. It's maybe we'll try and fake this just a little bit. Sure, that works. Why not? Goodness gracious. All right, I'm going in with my darker yellow green, just kind of putting some divots in, putting some last minute hard lines inside here. Let's go back into our actual cappuccino. We got a little more work to do on this guy. So let me put some of these guys back and let's go back to our browns that we used. And we're also going to add a orange red 4-4. I have both of these guys, the brush and the chisel, and this guy's called Rosy Bonnets. So let's go in with this guy first. Let's swatch him because he's new. He's new to the party. Last 10 minutes. Get my little... This is going to add a little pop to it that we need. Because so far we've used very neutral tones. Like everything has been very, very neutral here. So this is going to be going a little outside of that. That's good. All right, so I use the brush for this. And I'm just going to gently brush in, following that grain. There we go. And it's going to gently kind of fade in. Bring it out. And then where the bubbles are, I'm just dabbing. Because we put that darker brown down already. So that's going to help kind of spread that out a little bit. All right, let's add some dimension to our, like the actual latte, the milk part of it. The cup looks good enough to drink. The coffee in that cup looks good enough to drink. The cup is good enough to drink. Just go in and drink it. That would be amazing if I just go, whoop. Let me just grab my cup. It's too funny. Okay, we're going to go on with our red gray. This is one of the first ones we were using. And for inside here, we're gently going to follow that bottom ring here. Be gentle, use the very tip here. If it's a little harder to control, just dab instead. So if I do it over here, you can do it. You want to apply a little bit of pressure. If it's, too much or you're unsure of yourself, just dab. Like little dabs, and then gently build up your confidence with it. You got it. And for this, I'm literally going to use it as a brush, like a brushy brush. There we go. I want to drink you. You look so tasty. It would not be an Olo stream with me if there wasn't singing involved at some point. They're a staple. We're going to start making a bingo game where every time I do a stream for Olo, if I sing, you have to mark it on the card. If I talk about cats, dogs, or food, you have to mark your card. And then when your card is filled, you get a free hug. You get a refill for free. You get a chisel. I don't know. Maybe I can talk to the higher ups about them. Like, hey, I want to make a bingo game that people can win. There we go. Let's soften up because it's a little hard there. And because it's a lighter tone, I'm going to go with my 0. And of course, I'm going to use the chisel end because I'm addicted to the chisel. We're going to use the very tip, so the highest tip there, and just do little circles. That's all you need, little circles. Don't need to go crazy. Because we're just pushing. That's all we're doing. We're pushing. Any areas that got a little too dark, pull it up. Ah, yes. And when you get the squeak, you know you're doing good. I was in roller derby for a very short time, because of course I was. And we had a thing where it's like, if you squeak, you're doing it right. So if you squeak with your chisel, you're doing it right. Now I'm not talking like a crazy squeak. I'm talking like the nice little ch-ch. That's the sound that it makes. Ch-ch. All right. So using same chisel, we have these little bubbles inside here. We're actually just going to press right where the bubble is. Just hold it there for like a hot second. It's going to reactivate and move everything away. Same thing. So anywhere you want to put a bubble, put your chisel down. Or you can use your brush too. The brush also works just as good. I am just a chisel fiend. It's like the Hamburglar of McDonald's. But I am. Give me all your chisels. Give me all your chisels. There we go. Just placing down. Little by little. Just honestly enjoying myself. All right. So we have this area up here. That's still, it's still a very hard divide. So let's go ahead and bridge that gap, and we're gonna do it with our OR44. This is the one, again, that's super poppin'. We got a lot more orange in this one than we do our other orange reds. Very gently. Pulling that to the edge. Oh, hello, little girl. You can hear the bell. She's up and about. Kitten's moving. There we go. Gosh, I can't tell you how much I love doing these, and I love that, you creatives come in, and I love the questions you ask and the comments that you leave. So I just want to take a moment to say thank you so much for joining in on this. This is the highlight of my week. It really is. So I love being able to engage. So if you guys have questions, comments, recommendations, things that you want me to talk about, to cover, to color, um, oh, please, 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 all the comments that come through here on YouTube, I read them. I read them. I comment them. So you have like a real direct line. I mean, you have a direct line to Olo no matter what. Cat, coffee. Kim is laughing. Neva says, cats are always in my conversation, also because my cats are always into something. That's so true. Oh my goodness, darling. One hasn't walked across the keyboard yet. Oh. That's my big cat, Tia. She's like, let me show you shortcuts you didn't know. I'm waiting for the kitty cat to jump up on the table. Surprised it hasn't. I am so surprised too. Like honestly, it happens when I film. It must be a universal catnap time. It really is. It really is. All right, so I think that looks pretty good. Let's bring this out a little bit. There we go. So here we are. Here is very much our delicious cup of latte, which now I want another one. Of course. You can see where I've made a little bit of a mess, but you guys have a lot of options for this. So with any of these, if you do them, like, please share with us. It's at Olo Marker. It's singular, so share it with us. We are on Instagram. Kim is over on our Instagram, so she's the one who's our amazing moderator. She kind of just jumps in and does it. Hi, Kim, and thank you. Please share your stuff that you create. If you go with a different color, you can really cheat a lot of the time with anything that I use, because we do have this list. A really good cheat is just to look at the colors and look at the numbers. If you find another color in our color wheel that matches these colors, you can get the exact same results just with a different color. So play with that. Have fun. This is really a jumping off point for all of you guys. And I love seeing what everyone creates because they all come out so different. from like the same base. Like even Kim, she'll go and she'll be like, look what I did. And it's like amazing because she has a painting background. Absolutely stellar. So yeah, that's our latte. Let me go in here. Hi. Let me push that down and not drop it this time. Thank you everyone for joining. This was absolutely so much fun. The cup looks porous. Are you going to pour it out? I'm full of really bad puns. Thank you everybody so much for joining. Please, if you haven't, subscribe. If you haven't, please like. If you haven't, please share with your friends. These are a lot of fun. The replay for this goes up right away. We still have our amazing colors of the month. We still have colors of the month available for this month. I think it's 2 more weeks and then we're gonna have our May selection. So get those while you can. We have sketchbooks. If you have not checked out our sketchbook, these guys are amazing and I absolutely love the paper inside of them. Okay, now I can let you go. I love all you very much. Stay creative, share what you've made, and I will see you guys next time. Okay, bye! That was so much fun. Thank you guys.